I think one of the hardest things as a first-time founder or CEO is to pick your investor. It's incredibly intimidating, and the tendency on a human level is to say yes to the first person that is nice to you. The first person that says yes to you, I'm interested, I like what you do, you want to sort of close ranks, right? You want to embrace that person and say, finally, someone sees my value in the world and wants to invest in me. And maybe that's the right answer. Especially if you've talked to 50 other people and they've all said no. People don't really say no, do they? They're too polite to say no. They just sort of disappear, right? They stop answering your emails. They stop answering your texts. They're too polite to actually say no in most cases. But I think you got to be disciplined. You got to take advice from people. And you got to, if the guy's a jerk or the gal is a jerk, believe me when I tell you, they're going to continue to be a jerk after they invest. And if things go wrong after they invest, they'll be the biggest jerk you've ever met in your life. And so you've got to be really careful, I think, about who you align yourself with. And the best way to find out if a person is who you think they are is by talking to former CEOs or former founders that have worked with them in the past that probably are no longer working with them for whatever reason. There was an exit, there was a sale, maybe a company went out of business. That's how you get the true measure of how that investor is, especially when things go bad. But having a VC, the biggest trick in the book is a VC says to you, well, talk to the CEO of this company I invested in. Well, what do you think that CEO is going to say? Right? He's going to say nothing but good and positive. That's his board member. You can fire him. And so you're always going to get a positive reference. That's not the way to do it. But pick your investors carefully. It's really important. Yes?
What do you typically take as a stake in someone you invested? Do you do a 49%, or what do you do?
It varies. I don't have any. That's another one of the tricks that should be debunked. There's no such thing as I have to own 20% of a company or that kind of stuff. I invest, like right now I'm investing in a wedding site. It's kind of like a vertical search engine in the wedding vertical. I'm going to own probably 6% of that company. But there are other companies where I only own a fraction of 1 point, right, or 1%. There are some companies I own more. So it really depends on every transaction is different. Yes. Could you? I didn't catch the whole question.
If you have an idea and a patent, should you chase the idea first, or build a company and then go talk to investors?
You mean from your perspective, if you have an idea?
And a patent.
And a patent. I don't think it'd be unusual for you to have an idea and a patent that's already issued. That's pretty unusual because usually it takes. Right. I don't think most investors take those very seriously unless you're in biotech or maybe you have some really esoteric enterprise software patent or something. In this day and age, I could tell you that I've been sued for patent infringement. Yahoo sued us at Quigo. We just literally settled a couple of weeks ago for $18 million. They held tens of millions of dollars of ours hostage for 3.5 years. So I've been, and we had no interest in copying them. If anything, we were trying to do the opposite of everything they were doing, which is the ironic part about it. I don't think patents are worth anything these days. I don't think they protect you. Google's got a war chest of patents. They don't run around suing people. What they do is they hold it as defense, right? If someone attacks them, they use it as retaliation against them. But I don't think, unless it's something really extraordinary, I don't think a patent makes a difference. I think people are going to judge you based on, can you turn that idea into a company? Are you the right person to do it? You know what I mean? I have 2 minutes left. Yes?
How do you manage your outsourcers? You guys are doing a bunch of stuff. I'm sure that you have had to use outsourcers.
I have. Outsourcing is tough because you lose control, Although, so 5 years ago, no self-respecting tech company would ever outsource the core development of their product. I actually think that's going to change. I actually think big companies and small companies one of the big trends I think we're going to see in the next 5 years is it's going to become socially acceptable to outsource. And to outsource core development. It's already happening. Big, Groupon. So I'm actually looking at buying a piece of a company in Toronto right now that does outsource development, ironically. They build Facebook apps, they build iPhone apps, they build BlackBerry apps. They do it for the biggest companies in the country. Typically on a no-names basis, there's not a lot of publicity around it. They just do it, and they do a really good job of it. They're developing an expertise in user interface design, which is, I think, game-changing. If you have a great sensibility around user interface design, I don't care whether you're an outsourced resource, an in-source resource, you have something that most people in the world don't have, and so you can leverage it to make a lot of money. So I think outsourcing is going to be a big trend. I don't do a lot of it yet, but we're about to outsource the development of our BlackBerry app. So that's the first, that would truthfully be the first core development I've ever outsourced. Yes? If I'm a founder and not an engineer, well, you have to hire a tech person. Yeah, you got to hire a tech person. I mean, you got to have a technical resource to build the product. If you're going to outsource it, someone still has to project manage them. If you don't have the ability to do that, you better hire someone that does. Does that answer your question? Okay, I went 4.5 minutes over.
Give it up.
Thank you.
Thanks, Mike.